And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the On the Rise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. And we're joined by British bodybuilding legend, JD Dowadu. Yay! JD!
What's going on?
You look scared, mate. Don't be scared. Mate.
Crazy times.
Yes. Mate, I spoke to you, God, the last time I spoke to you properly was in Muscleworks back in, I think it was about, I'm sure it's 2012, 2013 when I interviewed you for MD.
Yeah, about 8 years ago. I think it was, that's before we moved to Valence Road, I think.
Oh yeah, Bethnal Green. Yeah, this is the old classic Muscleworks, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah. The iconic building.
Oh man, I just, do you know what? I was talking to another heavyweight. Remember Paul Baxendale? He used to train with Dorian.
Yes.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday about the old EFBB British days when, like 5 of the top 6 guys would be the Muscleworks guys, yourself, Amory, Mark Smith.
Ian
Wadley,
yeah.
Jamo. I mean, God, they were fantastic days, weren't they, mate?
Yeah, they were. I mean, sometimes you look back and you just wonder, where did that time go? And it's almost as though, obviously it's part of history, but it's... You wish sometimes that a lot more of it was recorded. Yeah. The whole vibe in the gym at that time, it was like obviously I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
The whole and everybody that came there came to train hard. It doesn't matter regardless of what level you were or anything. There was no sort of cliquey sort of thing. Everybody just came there and it was you watch somebody do something and you say, well, I've got to step my game up as well.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it was, I think it was Lewis that used to work there. Remember Lewis? Obviously Lewis.
Lewis.
Yeah. Was it Louis?
Yeah.
Louis. Yeah, and he said, Giles, he says back in the day when it was like the mid '90s when, most of the top UK heavyweights were all training at Muscleworks. He said, we'd probably get about 1 fight a week in the gym.
Yeah, he's being quite comprehensive with that.
Oh, really?
There's a lot of testosterone flying around in those days. It was because you can imagine it's like the area where it was, and the whole thing started up with obviously. I initially was in another gym over in East London because I'm originally from Hackney, and Hackney King's Gym. And what happened was when Sav decided to open up in Bethnal Green, he was like what. He went around headhunting, so he got sort of the kind of top in inverted commas guys from all over the gyms. So he brought people from he went and got Amory there, and you got Ian there, and people from East London, North London. So it was a big sort of melting pot.
Wow.
A lot of egos.
Mate, I never knew that. I never knew that.
Yeah, he headhunted. Yeah, when he came and he got me, I'd already been at King's Gym. I just won the light heavy British title. And that's when he come and got me. So in fact, he sent a good friend of mine, Tyle Coker. He was a world junior champ. He got him to bring me over. Basically he was collecting people. Like you just collect.
Yeah.
Pieces on the chessboard. And obviously, he was ahead of the curve in that respect.
That's very smart because because obviously once you've got those core group of guys. Then it really was the British bodybuilding mecca, wasn't it? Muscleworks.
Yeah, people used to come from everywhere, and I'm not just talking. It's not just heavyweights. So it was we had middleweight champions there. A guy called Brian. We had lightweight champions there. So it was like I remember there was one year, as back in those times, it was just like pro card only one.
Yeah,
the truth. It was just like the Highlander. There can only be one. So similar. What happened was, I think it was consecutive years. I was lucky enough to get it in '92.
Yep.
Then '93, Amory got it. Mm-hmm. Then '94, Ian Wadley got it. It wasn't just top places. Obviously, you had Jamo in the mix second and first, Lenny in the mix second. It was just a mixture of everybody. So it was and that's not even taking into account the middleweights and the other classes.
Yeah,
so it was like, do
you know what was that lightweight's name from 1997? Who he retired afterwards. He went into MMA or something. That he was like a little Flex Wheeler.
Oh man,
he was.
I know. Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name. I know the guy. Did he win it the year I won it?
In '97, and he won He came second in the overall to Eddie Abu, and he was a lightweight. There's pictures of him all over Muscleworks. He's a little flex wheeler who's incredible. What was his name? It's going to come.
And he's a lightweight.
Yeah. It'll come to me. It'll come to me.
Sorry,
but anyway, yeah. But also, Brian Buchanan used to train at Muscleworks, didn't he?
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you the story of Brian. Brian is actually the person that actually got me into training. Believe it or not, not from Muscleworks, from King's.
Okay.
In Hackney, because when I used to come back from school, I used to come up and down Dalston. I used to see the gym there, and I used to go, and I just said to myself, "Oh, listen, one day I'm going to go in there." I walked in there, and he was one of the first guys I saw training. I just said, "What the heck was this?" What? I mean, a lot of people talking about the athletes these days. Oh, no taper, this, that, and the other. There's no take it from me. There's no physique artist, anybody I've ever seen in all the 30 plus years of doing with a taper like Brian. Absolutely crazy. He didn't have a waist.
Yeah. Well,
and
just to give some context, I mean, Brian Buchanan, he was he ninth in '88 Olympia, and I think he was 8th in the '89 Olympia in Rimini.
Was it
seventh?
Yeah,
he was 7th.
Because obviously he came over from NABA, where obviously he was competing against. He won the universe there. Mm-hmm. Then I think he was against Kawak.
Yes, Eduardo Kawak
for the pro one. But I mean, it wasn't just the shape. He's obviously the upper body, just the thickness of the body. You just like obviously watching him train in Kings, and that was sort of the fun base for me to sort of where I got sort of bitten by the sport from there.
Yeah. But apparently, wasn't he reported in the magazines to have a 52-inch chest and a 26-inch waist? So his chest was double that of his waist.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It was the ratio was like, I've never seen anything. It's like insane. It's almost as though his waist is going to just snap off.
I know. Yeah.
Like an hourglass sort of figure.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you ever obviously train with Brian then?
Not really trained. I mean, we were just like young ones there, and he just see you saying, "Oh, don't lift, don't do it this way. Try doing it that." At that time I was really quite young, and he just giving us like directional things, what to do. So you'd watch him and just try and, as you do, modify your workout accordingly. But in those times we were just sort of messing around. It wasn't really, anything serious.
Brian Janssen, that's his name, the lightweight.
Yes, of course. Yeah, but wasn't. Yes. That's the Brian I'm talking about. Sorry, I thought he was middleweight. You're right. Like, he from our gym. He's probably one of the most proportioned athletes I've ever seen. I think I don't know if he went into MMA, but I know he left after winning the British, and he never really came back. I didn't even see him. I think was it the Postal Service. I can't remember exactly what he went into. But even now, if you like you said, you go and you see some of his physiques, especially when with the muscular shot with his hands. By his hips, there's no, it's just total balance.
Yeah,
it's just beautiful physique.
Hey, do you know he reminds me? He's like a '90s version of Sean Clarida, the guy who just won the 212 Olympia.
Yes. Yeah. I just think in that obviously that he's just wrong place, wrong time. If you could sort of have that physique now and bring forward, the world is his oyster. But that's just at that time it was still very much a fringe sport.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, was it 89 you won the light heavyweights at the British finals? Was it 89 or 90?
Yeah, I won it in 1989 first.
Right,
yeah,
89.
Yeah, 1989, 90, yeah.
Then you came back in 1992 as a heavyweight. Now, this was before the super heavyweights was around. And if you can settle something for me, because I spoke to me and Paul Baxendale were debating over what your body weight was when you won the 1992 British finals. What can you tell us what it was?
Well, okay.
Come on.
It was around 15 stone.
So that's, how many kilos is that? That's 19, so 210. 210 is, that's about 95 kilo. Yeah, Paul Baxton said about 94, 95, so he was bang 94, on.
Yeah.
So you'd have been a 212.
Yeah.
You'd have been a 212.
Why? What did you think of?
I said, you know what? I said he's probably, because I saw you when you won the light heavyweights. And Paul actually said, he said, Giles, he says, that is probably one of the, well, without a doubt, one of the greatest physiques ever to win the British finals. Even, I mean, aside from Dorian in 88, I mean, that package you brought in 1992, mate. I mean, I think that would be a contender for the 212 Olympia nowadays, mate, because you'd have been a 212.
Yeah, I don't know. just, you know, it's just one of those times when all the stars align perfectly. You know, the build up to that show was kind of crazy as well, because yet again, it was one of those years where there were people from at that time. You had obviously you had Flex, obviously the Flex magazine, and you had Weeder. Yeah. And the poster boy for Eda was obviously Basil Francis at that time. Of course. He was getting a lot of coverage from up north. Then obviously you had Linky Wilson as well. It was coming down. And from down here, we had obviously people in my own gym, Ian Wadley, obviously, Rhino, and there's just people, there's some guys from the Midlands as well. So obviously Mick Theo as well.
Oh, God, yeah.
For another, so it was one... it was one of those things that everything was going to be settled on Wembley at that time. It was just like, wow, it's crazy.
Yeah, I remember because it's funny because you always knew when the Muscleworks boys were on stage because they always had a crew in the audience as well, going absolutely crazy, causing mayhem.
Yeah, entourage. Yeah, everybody used to bring the whole pack down there. Yeah, that's correct.
They used to be going absolutely crazy, and the security just be like pretending they weren't noticing.
Yeah, just people just. You know, happy, and just they said, well, might as well let them get on with it. I think sometimes because the security, they were fans of it as well. Everybody there was fans of the sport. You know, that atmosphere at Wembley Conference Centre, it was like a cauldron.
God. It was crazy, wasn't it? So, I mean, you turned pro in 1992. Why did it take 4 years for you to make your pro debut in 96? That's a long time, mate. It's a long time.
Yeah, 95. I think after the time when after I did the British, obviously you want to improve your physique. I was always one of these people that was sort of doing other things as well, because obviously I knew fundamentally, yes, the sport is good, but if you want to be able to look after your family and so forth, you're going to have to find other income streams as well. And I think it was one of those things. Not just with me, a few of the other athletes as well. You know, we were, do that, but is it going to pay the bills? Yeah. So, you know, I was doing stuff with the security. I was doing bits and pieces with property as well. So you had to always have that in the back of your mind. You know, I always knew it's not like one of these idyllic things where, okay, I've won the British overall now. You know, you're right at the top of the pile. Okay, what's happening? Why, you know, where's the sponsorship? Where's this? Where's that? Where's this? And I found out very early, you have to help yourself. Yeah. You know? It wasn't a question of things came flying in. Obviously, you tout your name out there, but it's you know, very limited what comes back.
Yeah. Oh, because I thought it was just purely because you just wanted to put size on. You know, it was because I mean it was an exciting time though for British bodybuilding, because you had Dorian, who just, you know, 92 became Mr Olympia, and it was a real kind of explosion for British bodybuilding.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's when you see, as well as that, I was throughout my career, I was never anybody that really wanted to just compete every year. But we would come from the sort of school of thought that if you want to improve your physique, you can't, you know, you need to have a year or two off before you go back there again. Otherwise, you're going to be bringing the same package back. Yeah. And that the you know, the lure of the lights and the fame, that wasn't really my sort of main call to the sport anyway. I just wanted, obviously I wanted to train. Okay, you've got to this level, okay, let's see if you can improve and get to the next level. If it takes you 6 months, it takes you a year, it takes you 2 years, whatever.
Yeah. So your pro debut, correct, was the 1996 British Grand Prix? No. What was it?
It was actually the pro debut was a night of the champions.
Oh, in 96. Of course it was.
95, wasn't it? 95?
No, it was 96. It was 96, and you took 7th place, and then you got a special invite to the Olympia, and you never took it, but you did the Grand Prix.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, so I did the I went out to New York, did the Night of the Champions, which was you know, quite a surreal experience. Spent a bit of time out in New York. I did a photo shoot there with Raymond Cesar. I don't know if you know Raymond. You must know Raymond.
I know Raymond from Malta. Yeah, Cesar. Yeah.
Yeah. He's proper old school bodybuilding.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it. He still does. Yeah,
they are the pictures that I did with the phone box, and a few of those. I did that the next day with him in. And there was a gym. Was it Brian Moss had a gym? What's the name? Better Body. Was it Better? What's the name of the gym? I don't know. Was it Better Bodies or something? We went to. Idyllic New York gym as well. I went from there, spent a bit of time because I had family in LA. Yeah. And then came back, and then obviously I think it was one of those things again. The gap was I don't know. It's funny. You could look back and say maybe the gap was too long. I don't know. It's just the way things fell into place for me in my life and all that sort of thing, really.
But I never understood why you were offered a special invite for the Olympia, but you did the Grand Prix. Which was a week, 2 weeks after the Olympia? I'm puzzled.
Yeah,
I think you are too.
I'm puzzled as well. On hindsight,
why would you do that? It's crazy.
Yeah, no, if you look back now, yeah. I possibly would have changed that decision. I mean, probably it was just I just felt that okay, you've got the invite, but you didn't. What's the word? You didn't qualify by right. And I said, you know something, I want to qualify for the Olympia by right. That was the main thing in the back of my mind. I wasn't on hindsight. Possibly it would have been probably better, just on a political standpoint, to have done it and get your face out there.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I'm looking at it from the point of view where if you're good enough, you should be able to qualify, and so that's why I declined it.
Yeah. No, because you're going up against the same guys. I mean, that was Jean-Pierre Fuchs, Dorian was there, Kevin Navrone, Paul Dillette, and then you went it because I was really surprised to see you there, So who was the one that arranged that special invite then? Who was it? Was it Wayne DeMilla?
Wayne DeMilla. Wayne DeMilla gave me a call.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we just had a bit of connection issues there. Sorry, JD, you were saying about Wayne DeMilla gave you a call for the special invite for the '96 Olympia.
Yeah. Wayne gave me a call and gave the invite. He said, I want to think about it anyway. Yeah. And I just said, I mean, the final decision was that I'll probably leave it and just improve and see if I can qualify by right. And I think that was the general feeling behind the whole thing as well. And also at that time, you're competing. You've got to sort of balance things off with the finances and so forth, and family. So that all played into my decision anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, because you only on that tour, did you just do the British Grand Prix that year in '96?
Yeah, it was. It was just that year. It was just the Night of the Champions and the British Grand Prix.
So why didn't you do any of the like the German and the rest of them on the tour?
Like I said, I just didn't want to just be one of those people. For me, it just didn't suit me just to be continuously competing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, you're running around to come, no disrespect, medium places. You've got to balance that off. Well, if I'm working or I'm doing this, that, and the other, I've got contracts. Where's you've got to balance off the financial aspect of it as well.
Yeah.
So that's what it was at that time, and I've decided okay, I'll do that show. This is where you are. This is where you've got well done. Go away, improve, and now you. Hello.
Oh, someone's ringing us.
I says you're calling me again.
No.
Yeah, it's got your name on it.
Oh. Turn me off. Hang on.
Yeah, it said you. I don't know if you tried.
I've not. My hands are here. Right. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I mean that was basically it, really. I mean, yeah.
But it's funny. It's funny because it was at a time when there was so much. You had Dorian, Ernie Taylor kind of emerged in '97. It was kind of like there was a real. There must have been a real fight for to be the #1 British bodybuilder, surely.
No, not from my perspective. There wasn't no fight. There's only one #1. That's Dorian.
Yeah.
Where's the discussion? The discussion is finished.
Yeah.
Mr Olympia 4, 5, 6 times. That's a non-discussive issue.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just running around picking up the scraps.
Yeah.
It's fact.
Yeah.
That's it. Just Dorian. You have to give plaudits to legends.
Yeah. I mean, you had Dorian by himself kind of in Birmingham, and then you had all these other like hungry young lions all in Muscleworks, all trying to turn pro and go after it. It was just such an intensely competitive time.
Yeah, I think as we were discussing before, I think because the fact that it was the only route you could come through is you have to win your weight class, then obviously you have to win the overall, and it's such there were so many great bodybuilders that didn't. Because they just couldn't get their that pro card, they probably just said, well, that's enough. And I just think you have to bear that in mind as well.
Yeah. So I remember when I came to do a photo shoot with you in '99, and I remember your coach at the time. I think was one of the first. Was it the first time you worked with a coach?
yeah. Who was it?
That was Lloyd.
Okay, no, he wasn't really a coach. No, he wasn't a coach. It was more. He was a head of a distribution company of product. I think it was Athlete and Gold. He was their rep over here.
Yeah.
So I think it was more of a sponsorship kind of thing.
Okay.
That's what it was. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I remember because I remember he brought you into the Night of Champions that year. He wanted to bring you down a bit to bring your waist in, and for me, I preferred the bigger, freakier look you brought.
Yeah, 99. Yeah, that's what. He did. That was the year when, where he gave me some advice in terms of coming down. I think I did sacrifice a little bit of size then, and when I came, then I decided next year to just do more me, which was so obviously when I came back in 2000, 2001, I was a lot fuller.
Do you know that photo shoot was? I think that's when I really realised that, because I've been covering a lot of amateur shows for the magazines, and I think when I saw you training, in a vest, I think that's when I really saw the disparity between a pro physique and a top amateur physique, because you completely blew my mind.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, no, it's I don't know. Is like I said, when you're in that sort of environment where everybody's training hard and eating well, and it's just I just think intensity, good food, more intensity, rest, and you just grow. I mean, it's not rocket science.
Yeah. And do you remember the 2001 Olympia? And I think the Muscleworks boys were arriving a day after you, and you got to the Mandalay, and I was the first person you saw, and you went, "Oh, thank God, a familiar face." Do you remember that?
Vaguely, yeah. That was a crazy time, because I remember of that whole experience. That was the time, I think, when in the press conference, Sean Ray was there, and there was a bit of an altercation between him and one of the judges. Do you remember? And I was going, this woman is just having a go. I said, hold on a minute, she's just made a position untenable, because you're having a go at an athlete and you're going to be judging him. No way, how can that work? Yep. And I was just sitting back, just going, damn, she just proper went for him, didn't she?
Do you know what? Because I sat down, and this was my first Olympia I'd ever been to, the 2001 Olympia. And I was sat towards the back, and Kerry Case comes and sits next to me, and he says, "Oh, Giles," he says, "is this your first Olympia?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, mate, these press conferences are boring as shit, mate." He says, he said, "Honestly, it's going to drag on." And within about 30 seconds, I think Craig Titus was having a go at King Kamali. Sean Ray with the
I forgot about them too as well.
Sean Ray, the judge, and Melvin Anthony. And he turned to me and he said, "Giles," he says, "I've been to like 15, 20 Olympias." He says, "My God," he said, "I've just completely contradicted myself there." He said, because that judge, I think she died in a fire or something a few months later.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she died. Yeah, she died in a fire. And she went because she had to be taken off the judging panel, because she said, well, Sean Ray, he says, because he said something about, he said, I should be judged fairly. And she said, "Yeah, but Sean, you look the same every year." Do you remember? Yeah. And they were like, "What is she doing?"
He just looked at, because he's quite a cerebral guy, Sean Ray, and he's just looked at and said, "Well, you've just now decided you're not judging at the Olympia."
Yeah.
And he really he provoked her, and she just went. I just went, "Yep, yeah." It's it's I don't know. It was entertaining anyway, to say the least.
So yeah, and then I think after when you arrived, we went to the all-you-can-eat breakfast, and because you used to get narcolepsy, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. You got a good memory.
I got a very good memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had breakfast and you fell asleep.
Yeah, but then because I've never been a great sleeper. So what happens is every few hours I wake up.
Yeah.
And obviously at those times you're carrying a lot more muscle. It'd be a case that because I haven't slept enough and I've had like an hour and a half, 2 hour workout. My body's just saying, well, you might be on the phone and say, well, now's the time you're going to get some sleep, or you could just go bang. Or if you have something to eat, I have to drive far. So I still get it, but I still don't sleep well. But it's not as bad as it was before. Yeah.
I remember because I was thinking, because I said to you, I said, "Jay, you're a few days out for the Olympia, mate, and you've just cleared a table full of food, mate."
Yeah. Well, it is.
You must have. I think what it is. I think you've been traveling, and I think maybe your blood sugar was dropping, and you just wanted a lot of food, and you just it was. I remember that was clear. And the next day, all the Aljaf brothers arrived, and all the Muscleworks lads were there to support you. They'd flown all the way out to Vegas to support you.
Yeah. A few of my friends. one of the main ones, he's not with us anymore. We lost him last year. That was Joe Wheeler. That was that was for COVID. Yeah, I mean, it was this COVID thing it's taken a lot of people, a lot of my friends, and that it's absolutely merciless.
To be honest, I was actually going to bring up Joseph Wheeler because I saw on Facebook a couple of months ago. So I heard that he'd passed. I didn't realize it was COVID.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't that great anyway, but I think it was a urine infection, and he went in there, got cleared up, and it's the usual story. Doctors then put him on a COVID ward. He called it on the COVID ward. Gone.
Oh no.
Yeah, and Joe was like, in fact, Joe was living with me. We were flatmates. Yeah. Trained together. He used to come to all the shows, and obviously him and his brother flew out to Vegas as well. So he was a proper Muscleworks loyalist always.
Oh, he was
life and soul of the family.
There's a guy that loved bodybuilding, loved to train. He was always so supportive, so positive of everyone. He was a good bodybuilder. He trained hard. You know, I was really sad to hear him gone, mate. To be honest, I was gutted.
It was strange year.
Yeah. So how have you been in the last year with everything going on?
You know, just like I said, you just have to just pull the hatches down and just soldier on. It's surreal. I feel mainly more for the children than anyone else, because it's been very, very tough on them from all angles. You know, schooling and for something that's fundamentally not their fault, and obviously they seem to be getting blamed for a lot of things, this, that, and the other. But it's we have to just go on. But hopefully, there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel now. Yeah.
So where are you based? In kind of outside of London or in central?
Yeah, just outside near Hertfordshire sort of side. So I sort of come in, but it's very, 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 very strange. It's almost like it's like I said, it's surreal. It's like something from a movie.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I live up north, and I kind of live in the countryside, and I work from home, so I'm probably one of the least affected. So when I speak to people down, in more kind of concentrated areas, I keep hearing this like it's really like it's so intense,
Yeah.
So glad I moved up north.
Yeah, especially you have to feel, especially for like the NHS workers, the key workers, bus drivers. These people, they have to deal with the public, and they're putting their life at risk, especially in the early days. So but it's like what can we do? We can just soldier on. Yeah. I mean, what's I'm wondering. It's funny that I was surprised they were able to put on the Olympia this year. Obviously last year with all the stuff that was going on, and but the quality of physiques was still good. It's always obviously Rami just was crazy.
You impressed,
crazy. Yeah. I'm a bit disappointed that with the Sean Rodden thing though. I think the federations have let down bodybuilding severely in the way they've handled that situation.
Why?
Well, no matter what, I mean, first of all, I won't talk from a personal level. I'm just talking about just anybody. He's your incumbent champion. Mm-hmm. He's been accused of something. Where's the pretext of innocent until proven guilty? There's a lot of ways they could have structured it. He'd still compete, but if you're with a proviso, anything that happens, we'll have the money in escrow or whatever, and you have to refund back the winnings if you're found guilty. How can you on not allow him to compete or have a living? What I've never seen anything like that.
Do you know what, Jay? I actually completely agree with you on that one, mate.
I do.
That's the escrow idea. I like that. Yeah.
There's loads of things they could have done. And it makes me wonder, if it was anybody else that was Mr Olympia, would you have done that? I mean, I'll later on get onto the man personally, but I'm just talking about, it doesn't matter if this was anybody.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have affected the status of the show. Mm-hmm. It doesn't demean anybody by doing that. They're just following, legal protocol. I mean, that is the most disgusting of crimes. I've got 2 daughters. But from a personal note, I know Sean, I know a few people. He's not capable of anything like that, and he's going to be fully exonerated. But I'm just more worried about the amount of stress, mental stress this is having on somebody. Remember, you spent so many years and years and years to trying to get to the pinnacle of this sport.
Yeah,
you get there in your 40s, and then it's as though it's all taken away from you, and you've not even been able to have your day in court.
Okay, guys, sorry we had a bit of a connection issue there, and myself and JD were just talking off camera there about Dorian. You were going to tell me something, mate.
No, yeah, you were saying you were there with Dorian and Chris, and I was just trying to recap the time. I think it was 2001, and there were like back-to-back pro shows. So I think it was. It started off for me in LA. It was the Ironman.
Yes.
And that was the famous one when Kamali was there, Craig Titus, Chris. Chris Cormier, Melvin Anthony. It was just like, and it was there at that time. They had all this East Coast, West Coast stuff going on because obviously, you know, you had Kamali was from New York, and then you had all Chris and all that from the other sides. If you ever look back on the footage on stage, there's like shouldering on the stage. There's a lot of hype, and there was that hype between Kamali and Craig Titus, and I'm just looking at these guys and going, well, damn, I'm just from London, man. You guys get on with it. So that was it, yeah.
Do you think Titus and Kamali, was that a setup, or do you think they just genuinely disliked each other?
No, it wasn't a setup. Trust me. He was like that. Yeah, Craig was like that a little bit. So both of them were, and obviously it's two egos clashing, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
It was, and if it's played out in the public eye, it's even better. So that was the first one. Then I think the next, I stayed out there because the next weekend was the San Francisco Pro Show, so we had to fly to there. I think I got fourth in that one as well. So I got fourth in the Ironman, fourth in that one. I think I just missed the qualification by one. Then we had to go to, came back to UK in the week, then flew out to Budapest, I think it was. Yeah, we did the Hungarian Grand Prix. Then after that, it was either after that or before that was the Arnold. So I did the Arnold. Yeah. And the last one on the tour was the Melbourne. So we flew down to Melbourne.
Went up to Australia, yeah.
And that's where I managed to qualify down there. But it was like, yeah. So we were all like on a, you know, like a road trip. It was me, Chris Cormier, Melvin Anthony, Dexter Jackson, Dennis James. Yeah, just like you're just going around from shows to show. Yeah, it was crazy.
Who did you get on best with?
Probably Melvin was cool. Chris was cool. Chris Cormier. I met Paul Dillett as well. Paul Dillett was okay. Yeah, most of the guys, they're okay, really. Just, you know, everyone's just, because it's, you know, everyone's just trying to do their own thing. So at the end of the day, it's a subjective sport. It's up to the judges. Yeah. So I've never really understood why somebody would be upset with another athlete. It doesn't make sense to me. You can, the only thing you can order is yourself. You can't order anybody else.
That's true. So you literally did every single pro show. You did Night of Champions, Arnold's, Olympias, Grand Prix, all over Australia, Hungary. What was your favourite one as a pro Ironman with amazing lighting? What was your favourite one as an overall experience?
I enjoyed the of all the pro shows. I enjoyed the Ironman one. That was the one. I think it was 2001. Yeah. Because that was proper. You know, it was like warfare on stage. It was like that. It was. You know, I came back from the year before. I wasn't that great, but 2001. That show, the Ironman, because there I felt I got some good call outs as well. So you know, so I was happy with that one.
What would you say was your best package that you ever brought?
Probably on hindsight, looking back, as an amateur, obviously, I think it would be the British, 1992, and probably that. Either that Ironman I just talked to you about, or the week later at San Francisco, because I came in a little bit more. So, but that wasn't really a much publicised show, that one in San Francisco. I think I got fourth in that one as well. But I was a bit drier than I was at the preceding week of the Ironman.
Was it 2002 when you got beat by George Farah?
Oh, I forgot about that show.
Yeah, and I was thinking, no disrespect to George. George was great, but I didn't think he should have beaten you, mate.
Yeah, it does. Which show was that? Was that the was that the Texas show? There was one show. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, there was a show I did, and then
did a few.
When I came off, it was over 2 days.
Okay.
So so we did that. When I came, Arlington, I think it was. So when I came off, obviously you had all Sean Ray and all the other Flex and all the other guys in the crowd, and obviously they were starting to know my face, and that was the only show where I came off, and they goes, I think you've probably got your first pro show. They were, you know when your peers come up to you and say that, that's when you start feeling a little bit enthused. And I was feeling, but then by the time we got to the next day, come up, I think I got fourth in that one. And a lot of people jumping up and down, and I went and spoke to a few of the judges, and the general feedback I was getting is, well, man, we don't really know you. You've got to be out here a little bit and blah, blah, blah. You know, the usual stuff. But but it's subjective. That's the way it goes, you know. So at the end of the day, you can't, like I said, you don't judge yourself. It's subjective. So you do the best you can do, and then just leave it to the judges and that, you know, their conscience or whatever. You can't change the results. But it's for the general public to say. Yeah. If they say, you know, or your peers to say, if they say, well, this happens, that happens, hopefully it will. The only thing you can do is hopefully make a judge say, hold on a minute, let's see what all this hype about this guy really is. You know, so.
I wish I'd gone to that one so I could have an opinion. Do you know what I mean? Because I only saw a few pictures, and I remember hearing people saying that you should have won it, and like, well, how did he get fourth? And I saw some pictures, and I was thinking, am I missing something here? Because he looks really like head and shoulders.
Yeah, it's part of life. There's hundreds of bodybuilders that have been through that. You have to just deal with it. You know, it's you know, just dust yourself off and carry on. Yeah. It can be. I'm not trying to say it's not disappointing. It is, by, you know, it just reflects life. Yeah. You know, that's why That's why I've got to bring it back to the point of Sean Roddick. You know, the amount of disappointments and that you have to go through just to even get onto that Olympia stage. Yeah. You know, and then when you finally get there, it's just like, wow, to have the rug taken under your feet. I'm just talking mentally as well. It can't be easy.
Yeah. I mean, I had Sean Roddick on a few weeks ago, and I mean, I didn't bring that subject up because I didn't want him to feel uncomfortable, because maybe he just doesn't have any updates for us. But I just, you know, you kind of see that on his social media. You see that kind of, he wants to compete. It's kind of like your life's in limbo, isn't it? Yeah,
but what class act, isn't he? Yeah. Humble guy, the gentleman, is a class act. You know, it's just so disappointing. And it's like, you know, a lot of people jumping on social media, talking a load of garbage. They don't even know the backstory. Yeah. You know, of this. Well, you're innocent until proven guilty. And when you know the backstory, you know this is not completely right.
Do you think that's the difference between, like, maybe, I don't want to get too controversial, but the difference between American justice and UK justice? Because in the UK, we're all like, look, you are innocent until you are actually proven guilty. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, well, I mean, yes, but I think when you say American justice, I mean, you can get as controversial as you like. When you say American justice, but what sort of athlete are we talking about? I think it runs a little bit deeper than that. I think it's running a little bit deeper than that. If that was a Mr Olympia, and you know he was of a different racial thing, I don't think they would have had the courage to just ban him like that. And they're just on what pretext? You know, on what pretext? You're found guilty, fair enough. Yeah. Or there's overwhelming evidence, fair enough. Or you're incarcerated, fair enough. But you're just leaving the man in limbo.
Yeah. I didn't really consider the race issue. I'll be perfectly honest there, mate. I'm probably maybe I'm naive for not doing so. The
reason I'm saying is because that judicial, you know, you just have to look at the demographic of how many of the people of our people are incarcerated on bail. It's totally, you wonder if the whole theme had been looked different. I don't think anybody would have the courage to just blanketly ban him like that. No way. I've never heard of any. I'll put it to you. Have you heard of anything like that before?
No, I was shocked.
In any federation, precisely. Well, that's what I'm talking about. So then, why him then?
Yeah.
What you have to ask yourself, if you've not seen it anywhere else, then you have to say, why? This is a precedent. Why him then? Why have you just picked on him to do that?
Yeah. Because I know he wanted, I'm sure he wanted to do the Arnold.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
Yeah, and it's like, well, they won't let him do the Arnold? Is it just, because when it went AMI, I was told that, you know, there would be like, you know, sort of protest at AMI and all this. And it's like, well, okay, well, it's been sold now. So what now?
Yeah, but I mean, when you say protests, this is not the same as what's that guy's name? Is it Harvey Weinstein and all that? You know, the madness.
Oh God,
the track history of somebody, using power to abuse women, disgusting things. Like I said, I'm a father of 2 girls in uni, and that's the most heinous and disgusting crime ever. Yeah. But this thing has got to be taken in proportion. You know, you've got, when you look at the backdrop of this story, okay, there seems to be some ambiguity there. okay, in the meantime, we have to protect our brand, continue. They put out a public thing, say this, until we've got anything credible, until he's found you in a court of law, then we can continue. And if it so happens this it goes to the negative, then we'll claim back the prize money or whatever, or take his take his title away.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
So because I'm a fan of it as well. Like I'm sure you. I mean, I would love to see him on stage, Kai Green on stage, Phil Heath on stage, Big Ramy on stage.
Yeah.
William Bonyac on stage. All these guys all lined up. Then we can see the best of the best. All standing together. Obviously, Brandon Curry as well. All standing together.
Yeah.
I mean, who, in your opinion, out of all of the current lineup, if all of them were in shape, who would you say would come out on top? I'm putting you on the spot now.
We're all in shape.
The current 5 or 6, those guys I've mentioned, the current, including all the existing Mr Olympias.
Well, it depends whether you mean in shape or at their best, because
at their best.
So if you brought like a 2011 or 2012 Phil Heath versus a 2018 Sean Roden versus a 2016 Kai Green. Oh my God! Yeah, you've got a real
and
fight
obviously
there.
And Brandon Curry as well.
Yes,
of
course.
Who would you think?
I think 2011 Phil would be hard to beat, mate. 2016 Arnold, Kai Green. That's a pretty impressive package right there. Yeah,
it's bizarre, but I just don't think we're going to ever get that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Yet again, that's another story. Well, Kai Green not being in the Olympia it's a massive loss to the fans. They should have. This is a thing they could have come a way of sorting this problem out. Was it over a stand or something? What was that over?
Oh,
again?
It's just the story's all in MD. It's it was there was they cut his contract when the Olympia was owned by AMI. They cut his contract, and he said there was money left on the contract left owing, so he wanted a free trade stand at the Olympia. He wouldn't sign the contract, and that's how it's been left for the last 5 years. But obviously time's ticking on now, and he's I personally don't think he will compete again. I think the time has gone now. I think the time has passed. I think we'll never see Kai Green back on the Olympia stage. I just don't think it'll happen. I really don't.
Yeah. I think that which is a shame. It's a loss to to all of us. And yet again, I think there's a small thing that they could have rectified. The price of a stall. That's something that they can deal with.
But I remember the argument being. Is like, look, if he gets a free trade stand, because I didn't know about the money left on the contract on the publishing contract. I didn't know about that, because I was like completely not on the side of Kai Green. But when I heard that, it actually gave me some perspective. Because they said, well, look, the argument at the time, I remember when it happened, was okay then. If we have to give him a free trade stand, what about Arnold? What about Ronnie? What about Jay Cutler when he, it's like that was the argument. But I didn't realize there was this issue with some money left on the contract owed. He felt there was owed to him, which he needed at the time, So
yeah, but I mean, for the first thing, me or you would have done, so okay, compete, and then we sort it out afterwards.
Well, he refused to. Unless
he got the money.
Yeah, he felt there was a principle, and there was a bit of a Mexican standoff, and then the Olympia happened, and then he kind of just stepped away. It's a shame, really, because we'll never know now.
I mean, we'd have loved to see him up there. Something like that. I'm sure they could have got an arbitrator in there to deal with it. It's emotions just running high on the whole thing. Man.
It was just like I said, a Mexican standoff. Both sides refused to back down. So but right. So the last time, and between 2011, I think the last time I saw you after that was at Body Power when I was working with Ronnie Coleman, and you came over and you had a young lad you were training, and you were looking a bit beefy again, and so what's happened with all the coaching? Tell us about
that. I'm still been coaching. I've been lucky enough to have a good crop of athletes. I think that guy I was with, he went on to become British physique champion. He won his year. I think that same year I had another one of my athletes, Francis. He won the pro card.
Oh, nice.
And one of my female athletes, she came second in her class. So it's been going good. I'm still doing quite a bit with the coaching, and you know, I've got some 1 or 2 promising athletes as well.
Good.
Obviously, the Corona has thrown a lot of people's plans in a spanner in the works, but what can we do?
Yeah, of course. So you're still enjoying it? Still, you know, still.
Yeah, you know, it's you know, with training myself, I always enjoy training anyway. The coaching is nice as well. It's okay. It's just one of those things. It's nice to impart some of your knowledge and pass it on to you know, to the younger generation. You know.
Do you let them have phones in the gyms when you're training them? Or do you like slap it out of their hand and say, this is not the way of Muscleworks?
I've come to accept, especially with
oh no,
a lot of the athletes. I say not, but I tend to, especially the some of the female athletes. I say, okay, at least finish the set before you do. You know, they do that twisting side shot with the thing, and everything. The thing that gets me, you've got the guys now doing it as well, and I'm looking at these guys and I'm going, man, if you go back, you would have just got laughed out of the gym. It's crazy.
You'd have been thrown out the window. I've been in Muscleworks. I've trained in Muscleworks. I think if that had happened 10, 15 years ago, you'd have been run out of the gym with pitchforks. I think, honestly.
Yeah, you know, guys, just every second of the day to do one set, then picture one set. But it's the sign of the times, and you're looking at some of these people, and then you just say, okay, that's nice, and they can't. You go, oh yeah. I'm this, that, now. Okay, that's nice, and I'm a pro, and you go, what? How many pros are there, man? It's just like...
Can you imagine like in the middle of Muscleworks on a Friday night, and the place is rammed, and the atmosphere's really intense, and then Ian Wadley comes over and says, excuse me, bro, can you film me benching 600 £, please? You know, you'd be like, what? Yeah, well, maybe for 600 £, but not for 225, you know?
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's you know, it's a different time. But I mean, you've got a lot of these. I mean, in terms of bodybuilding, these guys carrying the flag now are fantastic. You've got James, who's done very good season. He had a fantastic season.
Hollinshead, yeah.
But yeah, and obviously you've got Samson as well. I mean, we've got some good guys coming through. I mean, that Luke Sando thing, man, that shocked me, man, because I was thinking, yeah, he's going to be like moving forward. He's going to be a main threat, you know, top 4, top 3 Olympia. I just went wow when I heard that.
Yeah, it was bad, wasn't it? It was really bad. I think, to be honest, I'll never forget that day. It was May 8th, and I remember I was just about to interview Dennis James, and Flex Lewis rang me, and I just remember, and it just kind of it shook. I mean, for weeks, everyone was just in complete shock, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't really. People always talk to you. Really don't know. You know, everyone's fighting demons in different ways. It's tough, and then it's very, very tough out there. Yeah. And when you bring, like I said, when you bring this lockdown thing into the mix as well. Yeah. Yeah. Not easy at all.
I know. So, who do you really rate on the British side then? You've mentioned James. You've mentioned Samson. Who else? Who else do you rate?
Bodybuilding wise, they're the 2 main ones. Obviously, you've got. I mean, it goes without saying, you've got Flex Lewis. I mean, sometimes Mr Olympia. I mean, he's on a different level. I'm just talking about guys coming through. I mean, from what I can see, basically, that after Flex Lewis, I mean, those 2. Obviously, James is probably. Oh, of course, we've got Nathan as well. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot Nathan as well. He's another beast as well. 7 pro
wins, mate. 7th in the Olympia.
Yeah, he's a beast. So yeah, we've got some good guys, and I think it's just little tweaking, and then they're you know, these guys would be up there. Yeah, you know, just slight little tweaking, and you know, you could see these guys, you know, really knocking on the door of top positions.
Yeah. I think British bodybuilding has had a bit of resurgence. Like from the 90s, it was all you guys, the Muscleworks boys, and you know, it was a really exciting time, and you know, A. Francis and Ian Wadley and Jamo and all those yourself, and you know, that was a really exciting time. And I think now we've got another crop, like you said, James, Samson. We even when Sasan Harati was compared, I mean, he was fantastic. Yeah. You know, we've got some really, really, really outstanding athletes now.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're gonna do very well. And obviously you've got these guys. Just give them a chance, and I think that bodybuilding's in safe hands with some of these guys.
Yeah, I totally agree, mate. All right then, JD. Thank you, mate. This has been really good. And yeah, let's not leave it another 5 years next time.
No. We'll make it sooner than that, man. Yeah. Listen, you look after yourself, yeah, and be safe, please, yeah. All
right then, buddy. Well, I'm all right because I'm in the middle of the countryside. I'm absolutely fine, so don't worry about me. I'm cool. All right then, JD Dowadu. Thank you so much for coming on, and I'll hopefully speak to you very, very soon, mate.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jamie. Bye. Okay, guys, we are going to do a new segment here for MD Global Muscle. I'm going to go through some of my favorite Olympia moments of all time. We've taken this footage from the Olympia TV, what is it, YouTube and website, isn't it? Website, yeah. So we'll bring up and give it a credit. But yeah, I just want to go through some notable moments from that website, the videos they do have up, and I just want to give my take. So the first one is 2017 Nathan D'Asha. Now, apart from the 2019 British Grand Prix, which Nathan won, which very, very super clean, super polished look, this for me is my all-time favorite version of Nathan D'Asha. He's 5'9". They've said on the intro there, he said he's 262 at 5'9". I mean, for me, this is just the best version of Nathan D'Asha I've ever seen. This was just before he left Q8. He's obviously gone back now. I mean, look at that! Wow. I think this is. I mean, actually, this year, he was 7th this year, and I actually had him swap with Sean Roden. Sean Roden was 5th, but I had Sean Roden in 7th, and I had Nathan in 5th for this one. But this, for me, was the fullest, freakiest. He just looks, I mean, he's full to bursting there. Look at that. He looks absolutely tremendous. But I really want to see Nathan get back to this, get back to America, and get into that top 6 of the Mr. Olympia where he deserves. So yeah, I mean, look, just go back. I want to go back a little. There's a little close-up here around here. Look at that. Oh, wow. Yeah, whatever he was doing that year, that is, this is the Nathan that I know, well, as you can see, he's clearly, that's just, he's capable of, you know, so absolutely incredible. So yeah, hopefully we can see Nathan back at the Olympia this year. I know he's had a lot of problems with his gym opening and where it shouldn't be open. He's got plenty of shoulders and look at how full he is there. Looks huge. He is the #1 British bodybuilder. Yeah, Sean Ray just saying he's a #1 British bodybuilder. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Is it 6 or 7 pro wins he has now? But we really want to see Nathan back at the Olympia. Okay, guys, on for our second favorite Olympia moment. Well, it's not so much an Olympia moment. It's more of a, well, it is an Olympia moment. This is the 2003 Mr. Olympia. Now, this was an iconic Mr. Olympia. Like the 1993 Olympia, where Dorian Yates kind of took the entire sport to a whole new level. This is exactly what Ronnie Coleman did. Many say that this is the freakiest bodybuilder, freakiest physique of all time that any bodybuilder has brought. Because the year before, in 2002, hang on, I'll get my mouse there. Ronnie was beaten by this guy at the Show of Strength, the GNC show, which was held after the 2002 Olympia. Gunter was 5th place there. He sharpened up and he beat Ronnie a few weeks later. Ronnie was very pissed off about that, and he's decided just to come in as big and as freaky as possible. And that is certainly what he did. He came in at 287 pounds. I mean, as you can see, I mean, look at that. The conditioning, I don't think anything's ever been brought, well, definitely nothing's been brought to the Olympia stage ever since, really. I know you got Ramy at 289, but Ronnie's 287 is different to Ramy's 289. No disrespect to Ramy. Ramy's obviously at the start of his Olympia reign. This is Ronnie's. This was Ronnie's. Hang on, 5th, 98, 9, 2. Hang on, 98, 99, 2000, 2001. This was Ronnie's 6th of 8 Olympia wins. So I mean, this pose down. I didn't go to this Olympia actually because. Yeah, I didn't think it would be a very good Olympia. And if there's one thing I do regret, it is not going to the 2003 Mr. Olympia. This was also was it the first time? No, it wasn't the first time Dexter came top. What was Dexter this time? Ronnie was 1st, Jay Cutler was 2nd, Dennis James was 4th. Gunter was... I can't remember. My God, I can't believe that. No, I can't remember. Seriously, I'm usually pretty good with these things. I think... What was Gunter this year? I think he dropped to... I can't remember. Yeah, look at Jay there. Yeah, Jay said he was very upset when he saw Ronnie backstage. Okay, let's just stop this. Jay there. Looks so different. Yep, so let's go to the next one. Right, okay. Now, this is Phil Heath, the gift for his posing routine at the 2017 Mr. Olympia. This was his final of his 7 Olympia wins. Obviously, the first one was in 2011. Many say his 2011, 5'9", 252. That's huge. Was I at this one? No, I didn't go to the 2017. I went to 2016, and then I went to 2018, but I didn't go to the 2017 Olympia. Oh, what am I talking about? Of course I was. God, I'm all over the place today. Yeah, just my blood sugar was high before, but yeah, this was Phil Heath's final win. And yeah, this is when he was criticised very heavily for the stomach. And this was the time that Ramy took 2nd place to Phil. Yeah, the stomach. You see the hernia popping out there. The stomach's a bit bloated there. But my God, look at the muscularity. Look at Phil, man. He's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. The conditioning on Phil. Yeah, we didn't quite have this pop when he made his comeback. Well, comeback of sorts to the 2020 Mr. Olympia, where he took 3rd behind Ramy and Brandon Curry. But this was, yeah, I still had Phil winning this one, but I had William Bonac in 2nd. I didn't have Big Ramy in 2nd in this one. I thought Phil had this one, regardless of, you know, there's a bit of fullness to his stomach, so to speak. But yeah, so this was his final Olympia win. This was the one that The Rock was at. Okay. The Rock was at, yeah. The Rock was filming with his $7 production, and I think there he was. I think he was. I think Athleticon was in his head even back then, because I heard rumors that he was interested in buying the Olympia, and I think they just wanted too much money for it. So okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, there's Kevin Arone there. Okay, who's next? Oh, Big Ramy 2017, like I said. Yeah, Big Ramy. This was the first time that he even cracked top 3. And he really, 5'10", 295 pounds. See, I thought he was heavier than that. I thought he was over 300 pounds. I thought this last year's Olympia that he won was the first time he'd been under 300 pounds. So, shows what I know. Yeah, 295 pounds though. God, he did look good here, actually. He did look very good. Yeah. I mean, he's so improved now. I mean, the things that he was criticised for, like with the lack of detail in the legs and the back. I mean, come on. The back shots alone are completely different now. He's got better calves, better hamstrings, the glute definition. Everything in the back is popping more. But I remember when they moved Ramy in the 2nd, and I think that's when the crowd, well, I know I was there. The crowd went ballistic, and they knew that Ramy was, it was Ramy versus Phil. Personally, I had him, yeah, like I said, I had him 3rd. I had William Bonac 2nd that year. I thought he looked absolutely incredible. He really hung with Phil, especially from the back. But, yeah, he's you can see he's still like a diamond in the rough here. He's really fixed those issues since, and I mean, you know, he's obviously he's now Mr. Olympia, so he's managed to sort it out. He's so much more confident now as well, and so he should be. Yeah. So he was 295 here reportedly. I think they bullshit a bit as well, but he was 289 reportedly at the 2020 Olympia. So he did need to come in lighter to get that Olympia title, to bring the best version that he could bring of his own physique. So, because this is much the same physique, really, in terms of size. But, you know, so, right, let's go to the next one. Final one. Oh, I got to stop this. We got to stop. Right, okay, let's go on to our final one. And, of course, you've got to go for Ronnie Coleman, 2003 Mr. Olympia. As we said before, 287 pounds. He took the sport and the whole the whole premise and idea that of the human body and what it could be taken to in terms of maximum development, you know, Ronnie really, really took it to a new level. Come on, Ronnie, stop talking. Stop talking and walk on stage, please. Here we go. Here we go. Look at this. 287 pounds. I can only imagine when they saw him backstage. I mean, I think he was 40 pounds up from the 2002 Olympia, even though he over dieted. I mean, he could have been on stage at around 255, 260, I think. But this, for me, this is the freakiest Mr. Olympia of all time. Obviously, I think it trumps 1993 Dorian, 1991 Lee Haney, 2011 Phil Heath, 2020 Big Ramy. So if you want to look at it in terms of sheer freakiness and muscle size and conditioning and what the human body can be pushed to, I think you've got to look to the 2003 version of Ronnie Coleman here, you know, just to really, my God. Oh, I wish I got to this Olympia. What an idiot. What an idiot. Oh, I went to 2001, went to 2002, and I press pass for 2002. I was backstage. And then 2003, all the guys were like, Jay was out. No, Jay didn't drop out. A few names were dropping out, and I was like, I don't think I'll go this year. I don't think it'll be a very good Olympia. There's only, I think it wasn't a huge amount. Because I like it when there's 20 plus guys in the Olympia. And I think there was only 14 or 16 or something. I was like, 14 I think it was. And then obviously I saw the pictures and heard the rave reports of how Ronnie looked. How it was a fight for second place. So, my God. Absolutely phenomenal. Yep. And then the crowd went absolutely crazy when he did the splits. God, look at that. See, the year after, he came in 12 pounds heavier, but he didn't look as good. In 2004. Ronnie's dancing. Ronnie likes to dance. He's doing the Ronnie shuffle, they call that. He's cool, isn't he? You gotta love Ronnie, man. He's such a cool dude. Oh, God, he loved being on stage. In 95, he did some weird... Did you see that in 1995 when he... Oh, I'll have to show you that. That's funny. When he started doing this weird leg dance thing and going down to the floor and... Look at him. Yeah, when you're 287 pounds shredded, you can do what you want. But he ate a good amount of good old chicken to get ready for this one. My God. This was the... this was the year he made Unbelievable. And he was deadlifting 800 pounds for... was it squatting 800 pounds for 2 reps, deadlifting 800 pounds, leg pressing 2,300 or 2,500 pounds in the DVD Unbelievable. Yeah, Ronnie, man. Look at that. It's just, there's not a weakness on his physique. Ronnie, stop shaking your ass. Yeah. Well, you can do what you want with that big. Yeah, you certainly can. Yeah. That really, I mean, all those back shots there, just, I mean, no one comes close to that. Not even a primetime Phil Heath. No one comes close. So, wow. So, yeah, wow, right down to the floor. Douche. Go on, Ronnie. He's loving it. Wow. Yeah, that's an Olympia I wish I'd gone to. That is really, it really is. I could cry when I thought, I nearly did, I think, when it happened. I was like, wish I'd gone to that and seen the reaction and the crowd reaction when he came out. Because that is the freakiest Mr. Olympia win of all time. Sorry, Dorian. But yeah, he took the sport to another level. I don't think it'll ever be matched. I really don't. I think it's going to be a long time before we see that even come close to. So, Ramy, you got your work cut out for you, mate. So, let's see what you can do in by the time you hopefully get your 6th win like Ronnie. And, yeah, so anyway, so there you go. Right, okay, I hope you've enjoyed this segment, and we'll be back next week with more favourite Olympia moments, and we are out. And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the On the Rise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. And we're joined for this very special session on split screen, Dorian Yates and Chris Cormier. Yes! Hello, guys.
What happened there? You got frozen, huh?
Guys, you okay? Can you see me?
Yeah, you froze there for a minute.
Oh, no, I didn't. It's not my fault. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us on Global Muscle. I mean, this is a real pleasure getting two legends like yourself on. So, you were chatting before. You haven't spoken for a while.
Yeah, man. We usually catch up from time to time, but yeah, it's been a little minute.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm not great at talking on the phone. I don't really like talking on the phone. I prefer when we get together. I get together with my friends. I got friends all over, and I'm lazy to get on the phone and talk. It's kind of, I don't know, it's like a girl's thing, talking on the phone for a long time. So. But, you know, me and Chris are tight, man. It doesn't matter if we didn't see each other or speak to each other for a year or 2 years. As soon as we see each other, bang, it's like straight back to, you know, that's the way it is. We're family. Chris has been with me in the UK and stuff, and I spent time with him over in the States over the years. So we became really good friends.
Germany.
Yeah, Germany, UK.
Yeah,
we can't give you all the details.
Well,
I know.
We will get to that. We'll get to that. Chris, now just tell me I'm imagining things, but does Dorian look different to you?
Shit. Well, but okay. So I knew Dorian when he had the braces and the ducktail in the back and the mullet. So he looked a little different. Yeah.
I think he looks a bit younger, mate, and he looks a bit more filled out. I asked him, and Dorian, tell us why.
Trying to grow hair and shit. I don't know.
Oh, what it was like I was following more like mostly anyway, not 100%, but mostly plant-based diet for the last few years. So not high in protein, and I wasn't training that heavy. I was doing other stuff, biking and yoga and hiking and different fitness stuff. So I wasn't really concerned about trying to keep all the muscle, and I was keeping my protein fairly low. I thought I'd been eating a ton of protein for all these years, giving my body a break. Maybe it's healthy to have less protein in the diet. So that's what I was doing, and I brought my body weight went right down from, I don't know what it was, like 255 down to about 225 over the last few years. And then recently I fell off my mountain bike, dislocated my shoulder and tore the tendons and the ligament and everything, and looked into the best way of healing. And couple of people I spoke to said, man, listen, you know, if you want to heal and if you want to avoid injuries, you need to get more protein and start putting more animal products back in your diet. So I tried that, and I've been doing that for about probably only 6 weeks now. I've been banging the protein up, and I haven't been training because all I'm doing is rehab with the shoulder. I can't really lift any weights yet, but I put on about, I don't know, 6 or 7 pounds of muscle and filled out and everything. So maybe that's what my body needed.
Yeah. So
you know, strange. I mean, I guess if you've had muscle before, it's like muscle memory. Even though I'm not stimulating the muscle with weights, a degree started to come back so I guess I was probably deficient in protein.
Yeah. So you didn't have much protein in your vegan diet then? Or incomplete?
I was trying to keep it fairly low, probably definitely under 100 grams a day.
Under 100.
Because I just wasn't concerned about muscle mass. I just want to train for health.
Yeah.
And, you know, muscle mass was not a concern of mine. So I lost it. I lost muscle mass, but I didn't worry about it because I was more concerned about my cardiovascular and flexibility, mobility. But maybe there's a lesson there. Maybe my body needed more protein. And as I've taken it in, I've just automatically put on a bit of muscle and kind of filled out a little bit.
Yeah, your face looks more filled out and look healthier.
Yeah, well, maybe I was too, you know, maybe I was kind of catabolic before, burning my own muscle tissue for energy because there was not enough protein in the diet, I guess.
What about you, Chris?
No, I'm on my seafood diet. So I'm always on target. If I got a good lobster going on or a good surf and turf, I still enjoy that from time to time, but mostly sushi, and I still do my egg whites and rice in the morning like I used to do. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge eater, but I do eat well when I do eat.
Yeah.
What do you weigh now, Chris? More or less.
It's like 255, 254.
It's pretty heavy still.
Wow.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's without even trying to do anything. You know, I haven't dipped under 250 yet.
Yeah, that's where I was. I was like 250 something, and then I went down to 225, I think, at the lowest. Now I'm on 230 somewhere, 230, 235, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Do either of you train with your clients ever?
I do from time to time. So I'll put in a few sets here and there with my clients stuff when I'm training. But I'm not in the gym all day long with anybody like that anymore. So you know, I'll pick a few days a week and do some time at that time. But I like to try to hit my cardio in the morning too. I've got a couple of cardio pieces here. I just jump on that. And then, you know, start the day like that.
So let's go back to when, I mean, obviously you've known of each other for many, many years. I mean, I'm guessing the 94 Olympia was the first time you competed against each other. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I think that would be correct. Yeah, but I met Chris, I don't know, when 1990, I think, was the first time I went out to the Gold's Gym for photo shoots after Night of Champions. So I think I met Chris then. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
That's when I had the bib and braces and all that.
But you had the overalls on, so I was like, oh, this white boy is pretty cool right here. Nah.
Was that the dungarees?
Yeah, dungarees, as we call them in England. Yeah.
Dungarees.
Dorian, why dungarees, mate? Please tell us. Why dungarees?
Because they were cool back then, man. You know?
It was cool, man.
Before your time, mate. Before your time. They were cool then.
Yeah.
You never heard of a band called Dexter's Midnight Runners?
Yes.
Hell yeah. That was Eileen. They sung Eileen, right?
Come on, Eileen.
Yeah, that was the shit. Eileen.
And the hair.
For sure.
More hair.
For sure. You was pulling it off, man.
Yeah.
So we met at that time, and that's when. So then every time I was seeing, because we only seen each other from the magazine. So when we was over across the water like that. You know, you might as well say what's up to some of the people that you've seen in the magazine and stuff like that, and probably consider might have been somebody cool to meet. You know, So when, because obviously all you Gold's Gym boys, I mean, there was obviously this guy in the UK, you know, kind of, there was a bit, when was the mystique and the talk really starting to swell around Dorian? At what point? Just, you know, from the magazine, you start to see different photographs that's, you know, he started to gain each year, he started to come back bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I think when he went against, and then, like I said, Night of Champions, I think when he went against Momo there, then I was like, basically, he like really, like everybody took notice to Dorian that he was coming along strong. At the time, Lee Haney was still the champion, but it looked like he was going to be the one that was going to challenge. So that's from my eyes, yeah, that's what I saw.
So literally, Dorian would come over every year or so, and then that was the only time you really got to see him.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So when did you two kind of really hit it off, though, Dorian?
We used to see each other at the. Everyone used to meet up at the FIBO in Germany.
That's true.
Which was cool because at that point, all the top athletes from the Mr Olympia, from the Miss Olympia, and so on, they were all contracted to WIDA. reader magazines or reader supplements. And as part of your contract, you have to make so many appearances a year. And one of those would have been the FIBO in Germany, which was over 4 days. So Weider had a big stand there in the hall. And, you know, this is the days when you had no internet. So the only chance you get to see the top guys or the top girls would be in the magazine, or if they happen to come to your town and do a seminar, which is maybe not that likely. So people were going crazy at FIBO just to see all these people, all the top people in one place at one time. And it was cool because it was in April, it was in the middle of the year, none of us competing. So you don't have that stress and that pressure of competing. And so we get to hang out a little bit more and be more relaxed and get to know each other a bit more than you would, like, you know, at a competition, everybody's just in their own zone, competitive zone. So you don't really want to take time out and chat to people and be friendly and so on. So FIBO was always good fun.
Yeah, Dorian wasn't much of a talker when he was competing, so you didn't get a couple of words out of him at all. Like, you get him in passing. And then I thought it was funny when we met a couple of times. He was talking about his son was playing video games at the time. I was always a gamer from back then, so we had talked on those lines. But I thought it was funny when we first competed. I happened to have the number right behind him, and which was lucky for me. And then I was like, and then we had the same shoes on. So I remember I had put on his shoes instead of my shoes. And then next thing you know, people was like saying, "Hey man, Dorian looking for you." I was like, "What?" Man, Dorian looking for you, man. I said, "Shit." I was like, "What does he want?" He's like,
I think you came to my house as well one time when we had the same shoes or something. Like that, yeah. I guess we got the same taste in shoes and flip-flops.
Yeah.
It's some size 12 Nikes.
Yeah.
12? Your feet are 12?
Yeah.
Well, US, they're probably 13. UK, they're 12.
Oh, okay. That's bloody flippers.
Yeah. Got the same size feet as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was walking around in Dorian's shoes for about a good 15 minutes. He was looking for him at the Olympia. So I was like, shit. So that was funny. When they said, Dorian's looking for you.
So I mean, your friendship is kind of like, was that? I suppose that really developed when Dorian had stopped competing, correct?
Pretty much, yeah. I think you came to UK to do some appearances and stuff, Chris. That was after I.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
Competing.
Yeah, I went. Yeah. We hooked up a few times when I went to UK. I did some touring and stuff. He came to one of my seminars.
99.
I think before. Yeah. So then, right after he finished, I think you came to the Olympia. Then we hung out at Club Raw.
Yeah, that was the first party I've been to. Like, I didn't even know there was a party scene around bodybuilding. Why would I know? You know, I'd just come do my show and go home, and I was a family guy and with my wife and a son and all the family there. So I didn't even know about this stuff. And I remember Chris, he gave me a flyer and he said, "I got a party tonight in Arar in the, Luxor Hotel." I didn't think anything of it. I just took the flyer. I was like, yeah, okay, I probably won't go, but whatever. Then I went back to my room and I saw this flyer and I was like, hey, why not, man? And then it was downhill from there.
Everything changed. So hang on a minute, Chris, you're the one responsible for Dorian going from one extreme to the other.
Yeah, I basically I was just like, hey man, you put it down for all these years, you might as well let your hair down a little bit.
Yeah. Opened the door, but then I fully ran through all on my own, and kept going.
Yeah, man, we had a good time that night, dude. I have a photo from that night with my shirt off, because that was usually my uniform in the club, is to have my shirt off. So Dorian came in there, and I was already in my zone already, and it was we had a good time, man. So then we had a lot of good times in different parts of the world.
Where was your favorite?
Oh man. Where was the favorite?
I don't know, man. Listen, Vegas is hard to beat, but there was that one club in New York, the Sound Factory. I mean, that's got to be the craziest place ever. Like, and I've been all over the world. That was something legendary, like point in time and place, and it just. I mean, the place didn't close. It used to stay open for like 3 days, 3 nights, and. Yeah,
and I would fly to New York just to go to that place. So it was definitely. Yeah, like you say, legendary, man. Sure. There's a whole lot of competitors was in there. But I was like one of the first pros in there. I didn't see any other pros in there. And then slowly but surely it became a place where a lot of pros you would see, you know, in the nightclub. But yeah, that was good. Germany was fun. Spain was great. You know, England.
Yeah, we've been to London together.
Yeah. London was fun.
Why?
Yeah. Well, just like Dorian had that place on lock, though, you know.
Well, you know, just like you had Vegas. So when you came to London, you're my guest.
Yeah.
Okay, right? All the security from all the nightclubs everywhere. Most of the guys work out, so they usually know who you are, and you get good treatment, good table, and all that stuff. Don't have to line up, which is nice.
So Dorian, you had the dungarees. Now I know, Chris, your kind of fashion was your leather waistcoat. So I'm just trying to balance things up a bit here, guys. You know.
I had some of those dungarees too. Shit.
Oh no! Oh no!
I had the long pants and the short pants. Yeah, I did a photo shoot with Chris Lambert when I first turned pro. I had some of those on too. Never forget that one. Yeah, man.
I remember this time you had some like leather pants on. I don't know, some kind of fishnet, really tight top.
Yeah.
And somebody asked Chris, what is that? What style is that? And it's like, it's J-Lo meets Godzilla. Like,
oh no.
Yeah, I mean, I was testing my fashion sense for sure. A lot of times. I was having fun though. It was good. It was cool, man. Yeah.
So I remember that '99 UK tour because I came to one of the ones in Middlesex. I came to that because that was 8 weeks out from the '99 Olympia, wasn't it? Because it was Dorian's supplement company that was kind of taking care of the tour, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah. I saw Dorian at that time, and he said that he thought that I wasn't going to make the competition shape. He's like, I saw you, but man, he said, it looked like you're going to make it. I said, man, I had him right where I wanted him to be the whole time.
Yeah, Chris got into shape quickly, man. Like, you know.
Yeah.
I remember when you came to Amsterdam. So I think it was from, I don't know, we came from FIBO or something.
After England. No, it was right after England. Because I got there late from in Amsterdam. I had a little court case, and I had to go. And I came there late to the show. And then nobody wanted to give me no color, no water pills, no nothing. And I didn't have any. And then, so after that show, I didn't place well in that show. And then by the time I got to go to Amsterdam, I got everything to go get together. And I was training hard for that week, twice a day. So that's when I met up with Dorian over there in Amsterdam.
Was that 2004?
No, what show was that? We had that one in Amsterdam. Was it 02, maybe?
02.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No, it was the same year that they had that one in New Orleans. It was the same year the GFC, the one Ronnie lost to
2002.
To Gunther. Yeah,
this must have been another time because I remember you came to Amsterdam, and I don't know where we were coming from, but anyway, you were getting ready for the Olympia. It was about, I don't know where we came from or why. I think we came from Qatar. But anyway, you were 6 weeks out of the Olympia, yeah? So I had a girlfriend there, and I called her. I said, is Chris going to come with me and stay with us for a few days? Well, he's getting ready for this show. So make sure you got the chicken breasts and this and the eggs. And for the guy because, you know, he's on a strict diet for the show. So he came in, and she got all this stuff, but she's making this big sandwich with whatever, I don't know, mayonnaise and all kind of stuff, like some big Dutch sandwich. And Chris said, "Wow, what's that? Can I have one of those?" She's like, "Sure." And then she's like, "I thought your friend was on a diet for a show." I'm like, "Well, maybe those things different from me."
How is?
And then he had Cocoa Pops for breakfast with milk.
Oh my God! In front of Dorian. In front of Dorian.
Hey, you know, I already made the position I wanted to be, and I was just on cruise control at that time.
But he got shape, so, you know.
Dorian, I remember that 99 UK tour. I remember that 99 UK tour, and I saw him guest pose 8 weeks out. And then 8 weeks, I remember seeing him guest pose, and I was thinking, he's got a lot of work to do in 8 weeks, because he looks really kind of, you know, he looks a lot further than 8 weeks out. And then he got to the Olympia and got third, and it was like you said, Dorian, it was incredible how he managed to get himself in shape, given that, you know, you would be like very, very in good condition at 8 weeks out.
Yeah, that's one of my
different
best
approach.
Yeah, and I wrestled in high school and in college, and I had a different mentality from a lot of the guys that I was around, because I was into the hard work that I put into the gym and into my cardio and stuff like that, and the posing and everything. So I would have a really high sodium diet too. So then when I drop the sodium and all that stuff right at the end, and everything just comes out. So, you know, that's why I was doing it.
Dorian, what's your thoughts on that?
Listen, if it works, man.
Yeah.
You know? Chris obviously knows his body. I mean, how can you criticize somebody if they come in shape?
Yeah.
But the only thing I always think is, could you have been better?
I knew you were going to say that. What if?
A little bit more, and I don't know. I mean, maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't work for you. Maybe you found the way that worked for your body. You got a fast metabolism, and that's what worked for you.
Yeah, but I was willing to put in the work. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know what? And I think one misconception I think Dorian gets with his physique is, you know, what he was doing, nobody was really doing like that, and then he was looking different, and I think the decade passed, the people that actually saw Dorian face to face or been on stage with him, you can't measure what people saw. So people they'll be like, oh yeah, well, you know, this person or that person would have beat Dorian or would have whatever, or they try to make comparison. I said, you can't compare stuff that's like when you see a graining fiber, you know, inch by inch on someone's body, then crosses with another muscle group, and that deep separational line between each fiber and each striation, and then when that crashes together with a hard, fast twitch muscle fiber like that, you don't see that type of thing. You can't measure that because it's just too difficult to measure. So then when you see that, like I was telling people, I said in '93, I like shit. Like I wanted to quit. I was like, man, this is bullshit. This is some bullshit.
It's hard to get that in pictures. That's I get all the time. People like my physique doesn't show on pictures or even video the way it did in person, because there's a certain quality that doesn't really come across, the density of the muscle and so on. And yeah, you got all these comparisons on the internet, you know, this guy versus this guy and everything. It's fun, man. I get it. It's fun for the fans and everything, and they can vote on it and everything. But it's difficult to do that from pictures. Really.
Yeah.
You have to see standing next to each other, and then you can really assess it.
Because then you get someone that's 250 some pounds, 260 pounds, and you compare them to someone's 230 pounds lighter or 20 pounds lighter, 40 pounds lighter, and it's not the same thing, but they got them almost similar, you know. So That's what I see a lot, or I hear a lot. But people that wasn't there, and I had a front row seat to all of it. So I knew it just as something you can't really imagine how it actually was, you know.
What was your reaction when you saw those black and white sock pictures at 6 weeks out from the '93 Olympia?
He was just wearing black socks. That's all. Just wearing black socks.
What did they say in Flex magazine? What was it said? What did Peter write that you felt was misrepresented?
He said Chris said the only difference is he's wearing black socks as compared to last year.
It's the socks, man. The socks.
The socks. He told me that secret later on when I went to train with him, and he said, "Man, you got to get black socks, Chris." I said, "Shit, I've been wearing black socks ever since."
Okay, guys, sorry we had a connection problem there. So, Chris, you were talking about Dorian's black socks.
Yeah, I was saying that that was the biggest change I saw with it from that year to the next year. Like I said, I used to hang out at Weeder's office all the time, and I just happened to be there when the photos came in from Kevin. Kevin Horton must have sent those in, right?
Yeah, Kevin sent them to Peter, and then Peter, like, you know, discreetly dropped them on the table in front of you guys. Like, oh, take a look at this.
That was like 5 weeks out, was it?
6 weeks out, yeah. I took the pictures, so probably 5 weeks out by the time they got to Peter and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. That's the thing. He set the tone for that, man. Everybody was trying to be ready 4 or 5 weeks out. You know, after they saw that, I was trying.
It's better, man. You can cruise in then rather than trying to struggle the last few weeks. Right. Very stressful and hard to manage.
Yes.
See, I've heard that...
yeah.
Sorry, go on. Continue.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. No, I was saying that people are saying that Dorian's one of those guys that, you know, he was great in photos, but you had to see him in the flesh to fully appreciate. Kevin Horton said that to me, Dorian. He said, my photos, you know, he said, whatever, anyone's photos, they're great. He says, but Dorian he just had that, there's something about him what you had to see in the flesh, something to do with that, the dense granite physiques. They're the ones you've got to see in the flesh.
Yeah, some things don't really translate onto the picture and the video, I guess. And now, maybe now it would better because the cameras are better and so on, I guess. But yeah, I heard that a million times. Something to do with the density, I think, that maybe you can't.
Yeah.
So, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, it's a bit of connection. Sorry, I want to talk about that famous video. You know, where you were training legs in Temple and you went outside and you were rolling around in the beer stained cobblestones of the back street of Temple Gym. Can you just tell us about that? Tell us what that was like and experience.
Oh man, I mean, first of all. But I mean, like Dorian's been talking to me about training over the years, and I was just like, I just wasn't ready to receive that message like he was trying to give it. I didn't realize he had like really something really special to show me, and I was just like, you know, I think I was too comfortable in my comfort zone out there in Venice, and I was like, because you know we had been in certain areas, we've been to Qatar together, and we was all training there, and he was like telling me some different stuff, you know, about my just swinging the weight around type of training that I was doing. But you know, different times throughout my life, even Robert Robinson tried to sharpen up some of my training techniques and stuff, but I didn't realize how important everything was that these guys are trying to show me. But then when it clicked, like, man, I really need to get over there and train with Dorian. It was a little bit later. I got hurt already, almost died already, all this stuff. When I was trying to actually go, I was going to train for the Olympia, and I guarantee you the world would have seen something super special, because I was 295 at the time, that I got, you know, I was in the hospital, but I was like, you know, like, hey, it was a 6-hour flight to get to UK because I was on the East Coast waiting to, you know, hook up with Dorian, and then yeah, that would have been something because I was ready mentally. I had the body and I wasn't injured and everything. But by the time I went over there, I think I was even 43 at the time now, and the robot got really thin, and I watch a lot of guys do that now. Like they wait until they like, okay, let me try this now, or let me try something now to try to, you know, boost my career. But you got to catch that early, man. When you're in your prime, that's when you really need to be doing all you can to be your best. So, you know, it's a little too late, but I think over the years of us having the connection we had, because a lot of people make reference to how I got my ass kicked so much, but in all fairness, I know Dorian so well, and we've gotten so close over the years that when he said something, I took that shit from 0 to 100 every time. It just took one word, and I was ready to run through a wall, you know? So, you know, beyond jet lag, beyond whatever, when I went, and then I was like I said, I was used to listening to music, and then Dorian's like, hey man, you gonna warm up? I'm all trying to save my energy because I'm like all focused. I'm gonna fucking train so hard for Dorian. And then, you know, out of respect. And then he's like, so I'm just sitting there on the cardio machine. He's like walking around. He's like, he comes back, you gonna warm up? I'm like, yeah. I said, no, I'm gonna save my energy. He said, I'm not gonna train you then if you're not gonna warm up. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll warm up. Just have my headphones on. So, you know, I mean, I did a little cardio, got a little sweat going, then I get to the leg extension. He's explaining to me what he wanted me to do and how he wanted me to do it. So like, okay. And then I still have my headphones like to right here. And then he's like, he just took them off my head and just put them behind the counter at the desk. And I'm sitting there like, I'm like, but I need my music, right? So he's like, man, we gotta talk. So, you know, so when I started going through it, man, I just felt something like that was crazy that I never ever felt before. And then during my career, I was always like, starting to get to a certain type of intensity or burn or whatever. It's like, okay, I'm done, I'm getting off. And I went to get off the leg extension, and Dorian went, boom! He was like, I didn't tell you to get off. So I'm in shock. I was like, oh, shit. He's serious about that. So, yeah, things got real serious real fast. And, but I remember it's actually on the video, just what I had to say after those sets, because I felt like after the first exercise, the leg extensions, that was the biggest pumped legs I've ever felt, you know, like towards the end of a workout, and we were just starting. So I was just like, I was like, man, I remember I was telling Dorian, I said, damn, I didn't know intensity can be that much. Like I never had any idea how intense that can be, you know. And it's funny because the funny thing about that is the dude that was filming for Dorian's thing, he was like up on the apparatus sometimes. You never even seen him. I didn't realize he was even filming like he was filming. And
Martin.
Yeah, until it was almost like a fly on the wall, you know, and it wasn't like, and you get a video like that, and Dorian can tell you we wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary for a video like a guy would do these days. They're doing some kind of acting, trying to act and do skits and stuff like that. But it was totally just a raw video of him training me. You know, Dorian got some sessions in there too. And yeah, man, it just changed my life. That day, my eyes were wide open, and I finally felt like this is what I was looking for my whole life. That was the feeling I had.
Wow.
Yeah, it was something.
At that point when you came, I think you had torn your tricep somehow.
Yeah, after I came out of the hospital, I was riding a bike with my kid and went over the handlebars. We were riding on the BMX track like I was that young or something, and I took a spill, and then, you know, and then I just like, man, I felt suicidal in those hospitals, and I just didn't want to go back, and so I just never went back. I was just like, I'm just gonna battle through it, you know. So that's how that happened. But like I said, we was close enough to where I had so much respect for Dorian that, you know, whatever rep range he was asking for, I was going to do it, you know. And he was, you know, he tested me a little bit, but I was like, I wanted all he had to give me in that, you know, in the gym. So that's how, yeah, man, that's how I got to that point. But you got to exert yourself to that point to really do what you're supposed to be doing.
You gotta know where it is, right?
Yeah, but I had no idea. Like I said, whenever stuff got really hairy or whatever, I wanted to stop. I always stopped, or never. No one really was pushing me through that limit. So it was something.
I think that's when you're a good trainer, you're able to get the most out of somebody and almost be able to show them what they can do, even if they didn't know themselves. And once they've been there and they've done it, then they know where it is and what they can do, and then they can go, you know, hopefully even on their own and do it. You don't need to be there because you've kind of taken to that place.
Yeah.
Which is that's the difference between a really good trainer and a kind of okay trainer. To take that person, to show them what they can really do. And I've always been a good judge of what somebody can do. I never ask somebody to do something which is unachievable. They can't do it. I can see what somebody's got, even if they can't see themselves.
But yeah, man. And then we spent a lot of time watching movies, or got the jacuzzi back then at your spot. And
we go to the gym and train. Then we go to Handsworth, which is like kind of the ghetto area, and get some Jamaican food and some Jamaican weed, and then we go home and watch movies and hang out in the hot tub and just chill, man.
So
Chris had this thing. Chris had this new thing that I never heard of. I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? You're all the time on this Facebook thing. What is this Facebook thing? The girls and stuff all the time, man. I'm downstairs watching a movie if you need me.
Yeah.
So Dorian, you were into your plant-based diet quite, you know, before the whole vegan thing came along, then.
Yeah, about 4 years. I just started reading about health and diet, and some doctors in the US that had kind of cured people with diseases, mainly going plant-based. And that's why I tried it, and I felt good for a while. I did lose weight, so it wouldn't have been ideal for bodybuilding. But I've learned something else now. Maybe it's not ideal in the long term, and maybe it's not ideal for athletes, because to recover from an injury or to avoid an injury, you probably need more protein and maybe some other things that you get from animal food. So now I'm still eating a lot of vegetables and fruits and all that stuff, but I've dropped back in some more eggs and fish and chicken, and it's a bit more balanced.
So, going to a completely different subject now. Given that you've gone through quite interesting journeys yourself with your careers and your lifestyles, and you're going from one extreme to the other, and then finding kind of a more of a balance and maybe a bit more peace and kind of fulfillment. What was your response to each other's documentaries when they went out, given that they were quite tell-all. They were very open, honest, quite revealing stories. What was your response to either? Dorian, what about you with Chris?
Well, I didn't know the extent of some of Chris's struggles with the drugs and so on. I mean, I knew Chris was a party guy and he was a drug user, recreational, but there was a lot of people that were doing that. I didn't know the kind of depth of the struggle that he had and addiction and everything like that was not really something that we talked about. And probably when we were spending time together, I think you were over that, Chris, when you came to UK.
Yeah, it was a strong 2 years. It was a strong 2 years, and then that was like that type of urge went away. I went to AA meetings and I went to different stuff to try to different counselors and stuff at that time. So it was tough because it was like brick. It was just the cleanest thing ever. So yeah, it was tough to kick that one. But once I got past that part, I was able to get back on the other side. But I still won like 3 shows each of those 2 years, and somehow I was able to keep on the right side of the coin a little bit. But yeah, that was tough, man.
That's amazing, man, that you still achieved that with this kind of something very negative in your life almost. So
yeah,
it's kind of what I always said to you is like, imagine, Chris, what you could do without that. That's why I approached Chris in the first place, because Chris, he get distracted by girls and parties and everything. It's cool, I get it, man. But like for some period, I said, why not look at it like this? Like Tyson, he goes to a training camp up in the mountains, and there's nothing. There's just the gym and the training partners and nothing, no distractions. Maybe that's what you need. And if you come to Birmingham, you have that. You get an apartment by the gym, you got the gym there, and the girls are damn ugly in Birmingham that you got nothing to do.
I concur.
True story. No. Hey, but Jim Mannion was talking to me the same way. But this conversation right here happened in your room in Vegas. Because I remember I was gonna go out, and you was like, "Hey, Chris, why don't you meet me come in my room, man? I want to talk to you." Remember?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there like, "Oh shit, I gotta go to Dorian's room." I was gonna go to the club. I was like, "I'm gonna go to Dorian's room." So yeah, we had this conversation in your room in Vegas. I remember that.
Yeah,
because like around 10 at night.
We all, me and Chris, and we're both like very observant, and we know the history of bodybuilding, and we can study a physique upside down. And Chris is the same, I know. So I'm like, this guy's got potential, man, and I know he's only getting 80% of the juice out of that orange. There's another 20% in there that's not being utilized yet. So if he did that, then for sure the guy can win Mr. Olympia. And that's what I was trying to say, just like as a friend. And, I like Chris, so I was like, just do it now for now, man. There's all the rest of your life to enjoy whatever.
Right.
Chris, have you ever considered doing the ayahuasca?
Yeah, I want to do it. I'm gonna do it with Dorian, man, because he said I should do it with him. So,
well, we're talking about it. We're talking about a camp right now, possibly in August in Costa Rica, which is, the facility is amazing. The people there, and there's in a jungle. It's a paradise. So we haven't firmed it right now, but we're talking about that. So definitely letting you know about that, Chris. That's a great experience in itself. Spiritually cleansing. A lot of people go there. The people go there for all kind of reasons, but people with drug problems and alcohol, and we all got things that we can work on. I've been several times, but there's always something helpful that happens, and it's kind of like a whole reboot and a restart for your brain and your spirit, and you come away feeling like brand new. And take it away from there again. So I don't know. It's like a lot of people have said to me, like they've been to therapy every week and all this for many years, and like in 1 week they gain more out of this than they do from all the conventional therapies. So it's there. It's a tool, and a lot of people benefit from it.
Yeah, I definitely want to try it though. Yeah, man. And when everything opens up, hopefully. Yeah,
we'll talk, man. It's something that you prepare for as well. You go on a special diet and certain restrictions and all this kind of stuff to get the most out of it. And at the camp, they have all the food laid on and everything like that. So I've done 3 camps now with people out there, and they all got like WhatsApp groups and stuff. They all stay in touch, and they're all doing great and sharing information. So it creates like a family once you've been through this experience together. And Costa Rica is like a paradise, man. So I go for a week for the camp, and then I hang out a little bit afterwards as well.
How did you find out about it, Dorian? How did you first get into it? Did you research it first?
I heard about it mainly because I think I spent a lot of time in Amsterdam and out there and reading and things like that. And I tried it in Brazil the first time, but it was really less than ideal circumstances because I didn't know anything about it, and the people that gave it didn't know anything about it, and I was drinking and all this stuff before I went there, which is absolutely great. I didn't know, I didn't know any better. Now it seems like, man, you're lucky you didn't die or something because.
No, I've heard people having bad reactions. I know one guy, he said he had it gave him a bad stomach for months because he didn't prepare properly for it. Have you ever experimented with DMT or psilocybin or the mushrooms, Dorian?
Yeah, I've done a whole lot, man. DMT, and I mean ayahuasca is kind of the main compound there is DMT.
Right.
It's mixed with another plant which extends the life so that you have this experience for hours. Rather than DMT, you smoke it. It's like very intense, but it's over in 10 minutes, I guess. Or
15 minutes, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's 15 minutes of so much information that it's amazing, but it's all like you can't really hold it. It's all like trying to put too much information into a computer, and it doesn't have the capacity to hold it. Where ayahuasca is like, it's more slowly over a few hours, so I think ultimately probably get more out of it. But it's a similar experience.
And what would be the first one that you would recommend? Is it?
I'd say ayahuasca because if it's done properly with the shamans there,
right.
and everything, this is a huge part of it. You're not just somebody sitting in a room taking some substance. You got these guys that have trained for the best part of their whole life, maybe 20, 30 years. And how to do this, and how to advise you, and how to help you through the process, and all this kind of stuff. So it's a totally different experience with having an experienced shaman to.
Cause I'm hearing some of my friends that become shamans. I'm like, how are you a shaman? And it's like you.
I mean, a shaman, it takes 10, 15 years, and
that's what I'm saying.
Special training, and they go out into the jungle on their own for a month and just eat like one plant for a month and drink water and all kinds of stuff they go through, and it's passed down as well through families. So it's become a lot more commercial now, and of course everybody's saying they're a shaman, and there's lots of camps here and there. But I go with the traditional. They're called Shipibo. Is a tribe from Peru, and those are the guys that work at Soltara, which is where I go. I mean, Soltara is an amazing facility. It's nothing to do with me. They just approached me and asked me if I would want to host a camp there to bring like other people from the fitness industry that would be interested in going there. And that's what I do. I go there, have my own experience. I get my expenses paid, and I hang out a little bit and have my own experience and get to hang out with everybody there at the camp and have like a bonding thing for the whole week.
Dorian, you're the only person I know that I know of that has done it more than once. What's the benefits for doing it more than once?
That's like saying, well, you know, I went to therapy once, but then the next session might find something else, and so on and so on. So it's not something you need to do often, but like I've done it probably once a year on average for the last few years, and I always gain something out of it. Rather than going, let's just say, rather than going 50 weeks a year to see a therapist, I go there for a week, and I feel like I probably get more out of it.
Yeah. Do you think it's changed you?
Yeah, it changed your perspective. So I guess it just change you in a way. You see things a little bit differently. I see that we're, you know, of course you get lost in the world and everything, but I keep coming back to that. Like ultimately, we're all connected, like one thing, but everything's connected. Like human body is full of, I don't know how many trillions of cells. Maybe all those cells, I believe in they're just a cell and they're, you know, individuals, but actually they're all function as part of something else. So kind of see it like that. That's one of the things, but it's really, really something that's very hard to describe and define. Yeah. You know, and you can try, but you never feel like you could do justice to it.
Yeah. So that's something that would interest you, Chris?
Oh, yeah, man, for sure. And, you know, I trust Dorian's word. I mean, he's like he's closer than a brother to me. You know, so always had that love for Dorian, and we always had that type of connection, you know. And yeah, man. So yeah, if he thinks that, for sure, I'm down.
Yeah. What about you? Something you're interested in?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
You know, everybody is like spiritually curious, I think.
Yeah.
Especially because the world's changing so much, and everyone's got a lot of questions. Not saying you get all your answers, but I think you get some. And I've heard of quite a few people like, this is like the most profound and amazing experience of my life. I've heard that many times.
I mean, I was listening to the, who was it today? It was Jordan Peterson who's been interviewed by someone. I forgot the guy's name. It was on the car. Colin, can you remember? You can't remember. Yeah, and he was saying that, he said, your openness, he said it went, like, when he's talking about psychological data that they collected, he said, as a psychologist, he said, you know, he says people who do these things, they go from like 60 to 85% openness. So which basically like you said, it changes the perspective on the world. And because Jordan Peterson, he talks about it very, very, you know, very in depth, and he's someone that, you know, that I really listen to, and I just thought, yeah, it's not something I'd go into lightly, you know. It's not, like you said, it's not something you do after you've been drinking. You'd want it would have to be fully committed to.
Yeah, it's not something. It's something sacred, and something should be.
Yeah.
Properly with the right people in the right circumstances. That all has a huge bearing on things. I mean, if you take some, I don't know, you take some mushrooms or some acid or something like that in a nightclub or a party full of hundreds of people.
Oh God! Yeah.
All their own energies and things going on and all this stuff, and that could be a very bad experience. Where if you're like sitting out in the forest and it's just you and the trees and the nature, then that'll be something else. So this is a very controlled environment.
Yeah.
They do it inside a Moloko, which is a big round kind of specially built building out of wood, and it's all controlled by the shamans and other people that are highly trained facilitators at the facility. And there's a lot of rules and stuff like that to make sure everything goes well. Like, for instance, if we went, we wouldn't be allowed to sit together because we all know each other.
Yeah.
So if you go with your girlfriend or your wife, they'll separate you because, you know, you could be concerned about your wife if she's next to you and she's crying and she's throwing up, and you might want to be tempted to say, hey, how are you? And it's, you know, it throws everything off. So
they want you to say anything.
They have people there to kind of look after anyone that's feeling distressed, and they want you to have your experience separately. So there's all this kind of regulations, and they also talk to you, which is very important, like how to process this experience and how to integrate it back in the world when you go back, because it's very tempting. You have this amazing experience, and it's very tempting to rush home and tell everybody, like, hey, I saw this, and there was a pink dragon, and it came, and it did this, and that. Like, everyone will just be looking like, this guy, man, he just took some drugs in the jungle, and he's lost his mind. So you got to be careful, like, how much you say and everything is kind of a very special experience.
But Dorian, your son Lewis did it, didn't he? And Gal. They've both done it, haven't they? What was their What was their feelings?
Gal was like, she did it to experience it. I don't think she had a great time, which can happen.
Yeah.
And it's something she tried, and she probably wouldn't do it again. I don't think so. But Lewis had a great experience, and he found it very valuable. So he may want to do it again. And now my daughter's just turned 20, and she's kind of on a spiritual path. So
20.
Yeah, 20.
Now you feel old, Chris, don't you?
Damn.
Young lady, and she's on her own. She's on her own spiritual journey. She's very advanced at such a young age, and she's interested to go with me next time. So I might do that, and then the whole kind of family's been and tried it.
Wow, that's fantastic! I can't believe that's amazing. The whole, because I saw one on your Instagram, and
awesome.
Lewis had done it, and I was like, wow, that's incredible. You know, because I mean, a shared experience like that, but it's kind of not shared, but it kind of is. It's I bet that was huge. You know, as a father and son thing as well.
For us, as a father and son, good for our relationship as well.
Yeah.
Cleared a lot out, you know, and good for Lewis and some of the things that he's been through and he wanted to work through. So
good.
Yeah, it was a great time.
So
I think Lewis was like 7 or 8 or 9 when I met him.
Yeah, probably when you first came to England, and Tani was just a little, you know,
little tight.
When you were staying with me, I don't know when that was, like 10 years ago, I think, when we did the Blood and Guts.
A little more, maybe something like that, 13, 14, 13.
I think.
Yeah, at least 10 years ago, 10 years ago, yeah.
Tani was probably 8 or 9 when you were.
But I was there, and yeah. So I know the whole family I know, and so it's like just seeing them like growing up over the years, and now, you know, yeah, man, and Lewis, man, watching him over the years, even when he had that little crazy fast car, he took me for a ride in one night.
Yeah.
Around Birmingham.
What car was that?
I don't know. I think he had some kind of BMW M3
yeah, he was testing those corners the whole time. Yeah, man. That's awesome.
So just a couple of final questions before I let you go, guys. Chris, have you seen Dorian's documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in it.
Yeah, it's cool, man. So I had a little cameo in it, and we were talking about you know, how about his career and how close we were as you know, friends coming up, and just yeah, it was just cool to see someone dominate like that. And you know, I always tell people, like, it wasn't even just a physique, but you know, when you're backstage and you're listening to the crowd going crazy and the horns going off and the whole the hooligans in the cheap seats with all the horns and stuff, and then you know, the music itself almost defeats you, you know, because that was
was that Conan? Like, Conan, or no, it wasn't Conan, was it?
Everyone just going down like this backstage, like shit, you know, and then to have his training partner sitting in Roy sitting in the middle of the auditorium with his arms crossed, yelling out stuff to Dorian on the stage. Educate them. That was all cool, man. Just the whole ride was just a cool ride, man. It was like, you know, whether you won or lost, just to be a part of all of that stuff was just amazing for me, man.
It's so,
for sure.
The reason I mean, aside from the fact you're friends, the reason I wanted to get you two on together is because you've kind of had, in exact conjunction, but you've kind of had parallel sorts of lives, you know, with your careers, and then you're a bit of a crazy period and the down period, and you kind of come back up out of it, and you're both well, and you're doing well. You seem happy, you seem satisfied, and I just thought it was really important that we get you two on, because I think there's a real shared kind of experiences between you two.
Right, for sure.
It's a human experience, man. It's life, you know. And I think that's the message. You got ups, you got downs, and none of it lasts forever, man. You know, even if somebody's in that down period, it's important to know that you do come out of it.
Yeah. I mean, you two had a couple of near misses, didn't you? Really? I mean, that was, you know, you both could very easily be not sat here now, you know. Right.
Yeah, right. More than 2 times, man. But it's not meant to be. Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, I was also surprised, like, you know, because Dorian really opened up that he never really opened up like that on his videos. So that was surprising. But I think, like, even like the last time we hung out, we were in Venice and just like looking at the sunset, and we were like listening to music. He had the drummers playing, and we were just like sitting like.
Awesome.
It was still like 2 warriors watching the sunset. That was cool, man.
I can imagine with cigars as well.
For sure.
I hope we hang out on Venice Beach at the drum circle again, man. I hope things get back to that.
Like, yeah, as soon as we can move around a little bit, it'd be great to get together again, man, for sure. And then, you know, I got my C3 TV Instagram that I dedicate to the 90s and to the old school bodybuilders. I always have like Dorian on there or some of the great bodybuilders. A lot of people don't post a lot of people, but I still like to try to post, you know, just to educate the next generation on what it could look like. Yeah. What do you say? I missed that. What do you say?
Educate them.
Yeah, that's right. Dude, I'd be laughing my ass off on stage when I hear him talking. Show them, educate them.
Was that Leroy?
Come on, Tito. Yeah. Leroy.
Cool. Well,
but then, hey, what about that one after the O.J. Simpson trial, and you had the
oh yeah, judge. 100% guilty.
Yeah. You've been terrorizing in Miami Beach.
You've been charged with like something muscle mass and everything like that, and you're like, how do you plead? 100% guilty.
Guilty. So that we already messed up backstage already once we heard that shit. We were like, oh shit, he already beat us. He just told us he beat us.
Right, guys. Well, I want to see Chris in Spain doing yoga with Dorian on the beach.
We can arrange that, man. Or I could do it in San Diego or something.
Yeah.
Somewhere, San Diego, somewhere, man.
And then a helicopter, private jet to Costa Rica for a week.
All right, let's all go there, man. Let's all go there. Anyway, okay. I'll let you go when it's all confirmed. If you're interested to join, that would be great.
All right, then, guys, thank you. This has been absolutely amazing. I really appreciate you taking the time, Chris and Dorian. And thanks for all the stories and the wonderful memories.
Thanks,
and there's so much more to come, mate. Though, isn't there?
For sure.
I could talk all night, man. But I gotta have my dinner now and my cup of tea.
What time is it over there? What time is it over there, Dorian?
It's like 8:15 in the evening.
Yeah. Dorian needs his.
Must be what? 9:15, 11:15.
11:15. Yeah.
Well, you enjoy the day there in San Diego, brother.
Okay. You too, my bro. All right, man. Much
Dorian
love
and Chris,
to you.
thank you so much for coming on Global Muscle, and I'll speak to you very soon.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.